Good evening. Hope everybody's doing all right. I was just thinking, and I hope folks are keeping at it. I really do. I'm glad that we've had as much time as what we have in order to be prepared, because we all have our weaknesses, our faults, and I, like many others, kind of put food further back on the priority list than it should have been. And so, we're now trying to actually get serious about food. Well, I mean, we have been for a while. Probably last couple of years, we've kind of really tried to do what we could to focus on doing better with our food supplies. We got canned goods covered well. We've got the soups, the soup mixes that you can get. We've got quite a bit of that stuff. Of course, we've got some of the buckets, the freeze-dried food buckets. Not a lot of that. We got a little bit of Mountain House, not a ton of that. But what really kind of changed the game for us was the deals on Augustin Farm from Amazon. And being able to get in on black bean burger at such a good price, and the potato shreds. Those now are 12 something currently. You just have to keep an eye on them. They are still cheap in comparison to full price, even at 12 something. We had ordered a couple of cans. It's been a little while back, and we're supposed to be getting those Friday. And then we had ordered 4 cans yesterday because they were on that $8 whatever, $8.18, $8.33, whatever. So we got in on 4 yesterday, and I'd been trying all day because I was like, because I wanted to try to get in on more. And eventually, not real long before the show, I guess, I went there, and they didn't have the bang-up deal at 8 something a piece, but I went ahead and locked in 3 more at the 12 something a piece. And you have to understand, they're saying for like the 3 that I got today, they're saying it's going to be December 21st before I get those. I don't think it's going to take that long. It didn't when we ordered the black bean burger that they said was going to be a month out when we bought it. It really realistically only took about a week and a half, I think, to get it. So it really wasn't as long as what they initially said. I'm hoping the same is true this time. We got a couple of, I ordered a couple of cans of honey, the honey powder. I figured that would absolutely be another good thing to put in the mix. So just kind of trying to hit at ingredients that way. I'd like to try to get like some of the banana chips and apple chips and stuff like that. We do have oats and stuff like that that we have for breakfast, pancakes, and we've got syrup, or pancake mix, of course, and we got syrup. So just keeping adding to it, calories and protein, keep adding to it. We're pretty much getting out of room. I don't know where to put a whole lot more. It's not that we've got that much stuff. We just don't have a real big place. So, we're getting pretty stuffed. So, I plan on making an update video soon enough. I'm going to wait until this gets in and get that organized a little bit better yet in there. And then get this over in the kitchen get that area organized well. I still don't have that really organized real well. But just keep at it. No matter what it is, no matter how big, how little, just keep chipping away. Luckily, I haven't seen anything in the last 24-hour news cycle that has really widened my eyes, if you will. It doesn't mean, I don't know, I kind of get the eerie feeling it's the calm before the storm, though. I will say that. Today, I did something that I saw a guy on a Facebook page that I'm on, or a Facebook group, and it's like, why did I not think of doing that? And so anyway, he took and he set his camera up outside and next to a tree, and he just got some awesome shots of a squirrel. And I thought, why did I never think of doing that? And so I asked him, what was his method? What did he do to get those? And he said he just put it on 4K video and just shot video, and those were screen grabs. And I'm like, oh, hell, that's easy enough. So I did the same. It actually turned out pretty cool. That's one of them. Now, this is really zoomed in and cropped, so understand that. I think this picture here is like 350% zoomed in, so, and then, of course, cropped. So, not all of them are not zoomed in that much, but there's another one. Actually, I ought to close these. And another one. Got an acorn in his mouth. Another one. Same one with the acorn in his mouth. I believe that's a different one. That one again. And then that's the last one of those I've got. But yeah, that was 2 hours that camera was out there for me to be able to get those. Gonna do it again tomorrow as long as it's not raining or nothing stupid outside. So I don't know what the hell it's supposed to do tomorrow. I has no idea. I'm gonna look. Because inquiring minds want to know. Clear all night. Forecast. Yeah, we're good. We are good. Going to be a little bit chilly waking up, but the camera won't care. Well, as long as it's not too cold. It gets a little warm. It's a little heater itself when you put that thing on 4K 60. Okay. Anyway, far as the news, like I say, there's nothing that has been really on a level to freak somebody out or anything in the last 24. Not that I've ran across. Not to say there ain't something else. I will say that things aren't getting better. Things aren't lightening up. In some aspects, it seems almost as if some of the tensions between different nations over there near to Russia are starting to not be quite so interested in being involved in this whole Ukraine mess. So I do think pardon me. I do think that's something that's important to keep an eye on. A gummy-sized baby? Wow. That would be awesome. I think it was a raccoon, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody I went to high school with. They got a baby raccoon that was, it was in a tree. A storm hit, and anyway, they rescued the raccoon, and they had it for quite some time. So, Oh man, yeah. There's the squirrels here. They're awesome. They're pretty tame. It's not like they'll come right up to you or nothing like that. I think if you work with them enough, I think there's a chance you could get them to come to you. Um, they're not. They're pretty mellow. They're pretty mellow. They don't have too much to worry about in this town. It's illegal to shoot them, but from my understanding, there are people here and there with pellet guns that will shoot them. So I don't know. I don't have a problem with them. They don't cause me any issues. So anyway, let's see. Guess we'll roll right on in. I've got 7 tabs open, I guess. Figure we'll run through those, do the headlines, make it easy. I'm all for easy. I'm cheap and easy, and sometimes at the same time. Let's see. NATO Assembly urges members to declare Russia terrorist regime. This is not real good news. NATO's Parliamentary Assembly has adopted a largely symbolic resolution calling on members of the bloc to label Russia a terrorist state. It claims that Moscow represents a direct threat to Euro-Atlantic security and demands more military support to Kiev and an end to restrictions on the forward deployment of NATO forces. Damn. Sorry. The non-binding declaration was passed by the Assembly on Monday, with the body warning that the Euro-Atlantic area is no longer at peace and that the global security environment has deteriorated rapidly amid continued fighting in Eastern Europe, going on to denounce Russia's military operation in the strongest terms. The resolution made a series of requests to NATO members asking them to state clearly that the Russian state under the current regime is a terrorist one, and to increase military intelligence, financial training, and humanitarian support to Ukraine, including by accelerating arms shipments. NATO bloc must sustain this support for as long as it takes for Ukraine to prevail, the resolution added, also asking that any existing restrictions on the forward deployment of Western forces along Russian borders be declared null and void. Washington alone has authorized nearly $20 billion in lethal aid to Kiev since President Joe Biden took office in 2021, with much of that approved after Russia's military operation kicked off in February. NATO allies have acknowledged concerns that the arms flooding Ukraine's chaotic battlefield have not been properly tracked, with the new resolution stressing the need to ensure the traceability of the weapons delivered. You know, and that's just the thing. It's very concerning to wonder who they might be funneling those weapons to. 1 second. I would hate to think that some of those weapons may not even be getting outside of this country. And I hope I'm wrong. But I'll tell you what, I don't put anything past these people. Absolutely nothing. If you don't think that these regimes that are in control have any issue taking people out, you're nuts. And I think that if things could limp along long enough for people to get fed up I don't think that's how this is going to go down. I don't think people are going to get fed up and change anything. I think they're going to bring the hammer down on us. But if they did stall out that long, we wouldn't stand a chance. I'm telling you, we're in a bad situation, like right now. It's insane. 1 second. All right. Sorry about that. Anyway, this is a very dangerous game to play. That is something to keep an eye on. I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of stupidity going on. Of course, the U.S. rushing to replace weapons sent to Ukraine. I mean, pull out all the stops. Let's make it happen. Can't do a damn thing for the American people. We can't, but we got to pull out all the stops when it comes to spending billions of dollars in Ukraine. U.S. Army is speeding up its weapons acquisition processes to replenish stocks depleted by the constant flow of arms shipments to Ukraine, a top military official said on Monday. The country's military is using contracting lessons learned from the COVID-19 pandemic to speed up the procedure. Do you hear this? They're using contracting lessons learned from the COVID-19 pandemic to speed up the procedure. Does it seem to you like maybe they're figuring out how to do different things the most effective way, possibly? Kind of seems that way. Doug Bush, chief of acquisition, told reporters. The expedited contracting effort means processes that used to run in succession will now be run simultaneously, according to Reuters. Washington has sent almost $18 billion worth of arms to Ukraine since Russia launched its military offensive in late February. The Pentagon also spent more than $2.6 billion between May and October replenishing key weapon stocks, recent contracting data shows. The Department of Defense admitted, however, that it would still take multiple years for the U.S. Army to be fully resupplied, according to a fact sheet seen last week by the New York Post. The U.S. uses special presidential drawdown authority to allow for quick weapons transfers without congressional approval during a time of emergency. This crap needs to stop. There are reasons there are things put in place to make them seek congressional approval. There's a reason for that. So going around that is absolutely violating what they have the liberty to do. They just don't have the liberty to do that. I know they do it anyway. But that's the whole point of having the congressional approval. It is those checks and balances that they've pissed away. According to Bush, around $1 billion worth of contracts have been awarded to weapons manufacturers since the second half of October, primarily to restock ammunition and rockets. This included a $477 million contract with Lockheed Martin. The pace of the contracts is now exceeding internal Pentagon spending speed benchmarks by 15%, Reuters said. Imagine that. The Army received its first batch of funds to replace stocks sent to Ukraine at the beginning of May and gets a new tranche every few weeks, ranging from a few $100 million to nearly $1 billion. The U.S. is not the only country facing depleted stocks of weapons due to the Ukraine conflict. Germany's military is currently facing severe shortages of ammunition. Ava Hogel, the Bundestag's commissioner for the armed forces, said on Sunday. While the shortfall has existed for years, it has been exacerbated by Berlin sending weapons to Kiev. Hogel warned it would cost the army around 20 billion euros to refill its ammo stocks. Russia has repeatedly warned that the influx of Western weapons will only prolong the conflict while making the U.S. and other NATO members de facto participants. And I think by now, yeah, I would say we're probably de facto participants. Have been for some time. Coffee. Okay. UK providing Ukraine with cutting-edge weapons, says media. Well, that's nice. UK has supplied Ukraine with high-precision Brimstone 2 missiles, the British media reported on Monday. Video released by the military showed the delivery of an advanced version of the projectile compared to those already in use with Ukrainian forces. According to reports, London began shipping earlier versions of the missile to Ukraine about 6 months ago. While originally designed to be launched from the aircraft, these projectiles are typically fired by Ukrainian troops from modified trucks. They are used to destroy enemy tanks and other military vehicles. I wonder what these trucks are, by the way. They're probably like brand new Toyotas or something like that. You know. Each Brimstone 2 missile reportedly cost approximately 175,000 pounds or $207,110 with a D. It has two modes of operation. The first one is the cost right up the keister. It can either hit targets by tracking a laser or select one from a pre-programmed list with the help of radar. Could use a few of those. The system can scan the battlefield and independently select the most appropriate target while sparing civilian vehicles and military equipment of secondary importance. During his visit to Kiev at the weekend, British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak unveiled a new military aid package worth £50 billion. 50 million pounds, sorry, million with an M. Britain has been one of the leading suppliers of weapons to Ukraine since Russia launched its offensive in late February. Meanwhile, Jens Stoltenberg, the Secretary General of NATO, of which the UK is a member, insisted on Monday that the military alliance has to keep up its weapons supplies to Ukraine to ensure that the conflict ends at the negotiating table as soon as possible. I don't get it. I mean, I get it, but I don't get it. Anywho, Gazprom threatens cutoff over Ukrainian theft. Says here, Russian energy giant Gazprom said on Tuesday that Ukraine was diverting natural gas supplies transiting to Moldova, and the company has threatened to curtail deliveries through a key pipeline in response. The volume of gas supplied by Gazprom to the Sudza gas measuring station for transit to Moldova via Ukraine exceeds the physical volume transmitted at the border of Ukraine with Moldova, Gazprom's statement read. Moldova paid for some November gas supplies on Monday, according to Gazprom, which said that Kiev had kept 52.52 million cubic meters of gas meant for Moldova on its territory. The Russian energy company further warned that if the transit imbalance persists, then it would begin slashing gas supply to the Sudza GMS for transit via Ukraine from 10 a.m. On November 28th, and the amount of the daily under-delivery. Delivery is what it says, but I think that's supposed to be under-delivery. But I could be wrong. The Sudza transit line through Ukraine remains the only route to supply Russian gas to Western and Central European countries after Nord Stream 2 network was damaged by a suspicious explosion in September. Later on Tuesday, Kiev accused Gazprom of manipulating the facts. The country's gas transmission system operator stated that the entire volume of gas accepted by Ukraine at the border with Russia was transferred to Moldova. However, some of that gas is returned to Ukraine in the form of virtual reverse, the operator claimed. Meanwhile, landlocked Moldova, which has been suffering massive blackouts lately, has called for an international assistance as soaring energy costs and skyrocketing inflation are set to put a huge strain on consumers in one of Europe's poorest countries. According to the French Foreign Ministry, support is all the more important as Moldova is facing an unprecedented energy crisis as winter approaches. I mean, it's crazy. It is truly crazy. Hang on. I gotta have a vape or two. I get too much blood in my nicotine system and things just don't feel good. Nah, I just need a vape. Alright. Continuing on to the next cluster. EU nations' property market slump deepens. The decline in Swedish house prices accelerated in October, with the Nordic country gripped by its most severe housing slump in 3 decades, Bloomberg reported on Monday, citing industry data. Values plunged by about 14% from a peak earlier this year, according to ValueGuard, which compiles the data. They have reportedly slid for 7 straight months as households are being squeezed by the rising cost of living. This shows what may lie ahead for many other developed economies, Bloomberg wrote, noting that the downturn in Sweden was fueled by soaring inflation and central bank moves to curb price increases. You know, the same thing all the other countries did. The report indicated that the downtrend is unusual in a country where previous corrections have been shallow and short-lived, and many young home buyers have never experienced a housing market crash. While housing markets are cooling across the world with fewer transactions taking place, price declines have yet to begin in a number of countries, it wrote, specifying that home prices in Canada are now down 10% from the peak, and declines of as much as 20% are forecast for countries including the U.S., the UK, and New Zealand. It's coming. A lot of homes are being sold at levels around the asking price, and bidding wars are rare, Chief Executive of Landsforsikringar and Fastighetsförmedling Marcus Svanberg said in a statement. I think I did okay on that, don't you think? Come on. 2 thumbs up? Come on. Anyway, we don't expect to see a real recovery until spring of next year at the earliest. I don't know how the hell he talks. ValueGuard data showed the Sweden housing price index decreased 3% in October, but the previous month in a steepest decline since June. The drop was reportedly led by detached houses, not their Hulerwagen, whatever the hell you call that stuff they were. I don't know the name, how to say it. You know, the pantyhose things. uh, let's see. The media outlet also said that most forecasters expect the decline to continue, and the current trajectory indicates that the outsized gains in housing prices achieved during the pandemic could be erased by early next year. Lederhosen. Isn't that what it's called? Lederhosen? Something like that? Yeah. The men's pantyhose. Sorry. I have never said there's not a child inside of me. Because there's a big one. All right, German living standards could collapse, says government politician. I mean, we're like traveling all over the area over there. Germany's economic prosperity is in jeopardy due to a complete failure of the government's energy policy, the head of Free Democratic Party's parliamentary group in the Landtag of North... Man, what is it? Rhine-Westphalia, Henning Hohn has said. Good job, Henning. He told newspaper Die Welt on Monday that the country's living standards could drop to the level of 1970. In the face of a completely imploding energy transition, we have to ask ourselves, in 10 years, will there still be someone who will produce here and sell their product internationally? We must answer that, Hohn said. The MP urged people to realize the seriousness of the situation, noting that a number of companies from Lanxess, I guess, to a BASF say they are ready to invest anywhere but Germany. Our small and medium-sized businesses are also under pressure. Many observers warn that our country may soon become CO2 neutral but poor, Hohn added. You hear that? See, because all of their businesses have to close up shop because they can't produce the energy to support them. Part of it is because they went with renewables that can't keep up. And, of course, the other part is the big cluster F going on over in Ukraine. The politician believes that due to arrogance and absolute complacency in Germany, these risks are ignored. We have been deprived of all sources of energy except Russian gas, and that is blocked. The situation in North Rhine-Westphalia, the most energy-intensive region in Germany, is especially dramatic due to energy prices. The German business model is under strong pressure, Hohn explained. At the same time, he clarified that he's not calling for a suspension of the energy transition, but would like the government to temporarily use all available domestic energy sources. According to Hohn, he would like Germany to remain an industrial country and a place for production. Well, you have to if you want to survive. Even if it's just providing for your own country, you still have to have a level of industry. The thing is, and this is what I think about with all of this, there will indeed be lots of companies, even pretty large ones, that will fall to the wayside. As this happens, you are going to have after effects of that, because those people that were laid off, furloughed, what have you, they're no longer buying as much this, that, or the other thing. So that's going to put a strain on other markets. And it's just going to keep going down. The other end of it is, the whole big supply and demand thing. As you've got more industries going out of business, you're going to have less demand. And so that cost, especially considering all of the other issues going on, there are less places producing, say, whatever. Prices are going to skyrocket. I think that we have lived in our golden moment. I think we're past that. I think the days of, being able to build computers and stuff for the prices that we can right this moment. Soon enough, I firmly believe that's all going to go away. And I think actually soon enough, it's going to be hard enough to get a lot of the components. I hope I'm wrong, but once these dominoes start falling, they're going to go pretty quick. China suggests reason for deteriorating relations with the U.S. We'll switch up the area a little bit. This is the last tab I have open, and we'll do some headlines and get the heck out of here. Washington bears full responsibility for the current decline in U.S.-China relations, Beijing has argued. Its defense ministry claimed the U.S. leadership has based its policies towards China on a flawed assessment. Speaking to the state broadcaster CCTV on Tuesday, ministry spokesperson Tan Keefe accused Washington of making a strategic misjudgment and said China is not to blame for the current bilateral difficulties. On the same day, Chinese Defense Minister Wei Feng told his U.S. counterpart, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, that Beijing viewed Taiwan as one of its core interests and a red line. The resolution of Taiwan is a matter for the Chinese people. No external force has the right to interfere, Wei said during his meeting with Austin in Cambodia. The minister also expressed hope that Washington would respect Beijing's national interest and adopt a more rational approach toward China, something that could reverse the negative trend in bilateral ties. Over the past few years, consecutive U.S. administrations have grown increasingly critical of China, with Washington now openly branding it a strategic adversary. Tensions saw a sharp escalation in early August when U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi visited Taiwan, which China considers part of its territory seized by separatists. Infuriated by Washington's failure to heed its warnings, Beijing staged massive military drills in the Taiwan Strait in the days that followed. Sorry, my neck is just, my whole back is just out something fierce. Let's see. Taiwan has been de facto independent since 1949. Well, I'm not going to go into the history of it. So yeah, things not really any different over there, I wouldn't say. But, let's see. Do got a headline up there. I'm just going to put it out real quick, so it'll be up in the list. Okay. All right. Those are the tabs. Another sip of coffee. Oh, man. Yeah, I can't wait to get some more diesel so we can get to use the other heaters again, or the other heater again. I like the heat that thing puts off better, too, I think. I really do. I kind of think I like it better than I like the oil radiant heaters. I don't know. It feels like a better warm, I guess. I mean, the floors aren't as warm as when we use those oil radiant heaters, but that's because they're so close to the ground. Plus, there's 3 different heaters. We can use that one diesel heater, and it heats the whole place. However, it doesn't heat the concrete slab like the other ones do. But it just feels warmer. So, all right. U.S. Space Force announces major anti-China move, and I'm not sure if I covered that one last night, that particular article, or if it was another article. But when I looked at it, it's like a bunch of those words look familiar because I was joking around with them yesterday. I'm trying to make it to the end of the show. Let's see. Earthquake triggers tsunami scare in Pacific. Yeah, that was pretty nuts. I remember seeing those headlines coming in last night. I think it was a 7 initially, and then a little bit later I think I got an aftershock 6.0. Like, wow. NATO Assembly urges members to declare Russia a terrorist... I covered that. Sorry. EU nations' property market slump deepens. Cost of German LNG terminal soar, says Reuters. Kosovo postpones fines for Serbian license plates. Moscow condemns U.S. reaction to execution of Russian POWs. Iran retaliates against UN nuclear resolution, says media. Ukraine to hike transit fees for Russian oil to the EU. AP fires journalists behind Russian missile story, says media. Life as Germans know it may well collapse, MP warns. I don't know if that might have been the one I read. UK provides Ukraine with... Oh, I covered that. Sorry for repeating all those. Russia cautions Turkey on military operation in Syria. Ukraine Security Service raids Orthodox monastery. Key OPEC members deny output hike reports. Musk wealth drops by $100 billion, says Bloomberg. Polish president shares stance on war with Russia during prank call. Orban angers neighboring countries with irredentist scarf. Whatever the hell that is. Russia threatens to cut gas exports due to Ukraine's theft. Oh, I did read that one. Russia reinforcing border with Ukraine. Chinese Grand Prix scrapped amid COVID concerns, says media. U.S. Republicans slam woke military leadership. Don't slam them too hard. Scholes names reason behind European economy downturn. Startup stripped of prize money over Russia ties. Russia becomes India's top fertilizer supplier, says Reuters. Kiev is trying to intimidate Orthodox faithful, says Moscow Patriarchate, I guess. Never seen it. Never seen that particular word. Ukrainian nationalist hero dies in Germany. Sweden arrests suspected spies in massive raid. U.S. endorses Turkish operation in Syria. Another EU country rejects training Ukrainian troops. Ukraine accuses executed Russian POWs of perfidy. It's kind of like 350, but, perfidy. It's not as much as 350. So, oh, wait, different things? Yeah, different things. Musk outlines stance on AP fake news. Well, I have no idea. Perfidy? I have no idea what that means. I know what 350 means, so 350? 350. CIA reveals plans for disgruntled Russians. I mean, yeah, you get the right people, 350. You get anything done. U.S. clarifies Russian oil price cap plan. Okay. 350 and a 40. Yeah, I'm fine. Sure. I am going to get the hell out of here and chill. I am tired, believe it or not. I did a little bit of flying, but not much. Flew in the Beaver. I love the Beaver. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here, and God willing, I'll be back tomorrow. Hope to see you then. I appreciate you all coming. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.